Uh-oh.
Geez, I knew I shouldn't have touched it.
Connectivity issue. The
Back
cloud
into-
is very deep right now.
I did it.
No, a bit further away too. Much
Yeah. Tammy, I have 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. First item of business, did everybody have a chance to review the previous minutes?
I'll make motions. We accept the minutes as emailed out without any corrections.
I have a second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any, no further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Finances were covered last meeting.
Yep.
Visitors, Tim Smith will not be able to attend tonight. Planning Commission, I don't see Gary Foote here yet, so we'll bump him. Okay, do we have a letter? Is anybody on the Planning Commission?
Yes, but we haven't discussed it. I thought there was somebody else who was interested, so.
Okay, then we're gonna let you handle that and
Okay.
come back to the next meeting with that.
Next week. Were you at the Thursday? Were you at the Thursday meeting last week?
No, I was not.
Okay, I will find out.
Perfect, thank you.
I started the recording and left.
We need a letter from.
Yeah,
the
we need
commission.
either a letter or a person in attendance
Not me.
to make well, you could be, it could be you. Yep.
Okay.
You would just have to say probably abstain from the vote. This would be the only thing. BCC, excellent.
I was here.
You're,
I was here for 2 purposes. Let me
Try this. I was here for 2 reasons, but one of which is bogus now. I talked to Tammy. I did get the bell tower fixed and I got a bill for it and I thought I could just bring it in, but apparently I can't do that. So I'm gonna bring that in another meeting.
I would, yeah, it would be easier to just bring it in and give it to Tom or Kathy to put on the
Right,
next
got it.
warrant.
So Pat, did you pay him?
I was tempted.
Yeah, because he was,
Did not pay. Oh,
yeah, because I know Dustin, not Dustin,
He's
he
pushing.
called me.
he's pushing hard.
Well, because his normal policy is to be paid on the last day they work.
You should have
And I
said,
explained to him
yeah.
that that's not how it works in the towns.
Oh.
You have to have it into the town to be paid at the select board will meet. Now, the only issue we have is that he's already 2 weeks behind. Now, we're going to put him 4 weeks behind. He has to pay his crew.
Great.
Well,
So-
I gotta say on my own behalf, I did not remember hearing that due
Yeah.
upon receipt of services or what
Yeah.
have you. So I
Yeah.
told him, I said, it's the first time I've heard of it. We will do it as quickly as we can. So that's.
If you were to give that to Tammy tonight, I feel like that,
Manually at it.
right.
Yeah,
They're
can we
their
not
own-
add it to their warrant? Do they have a warrant
I don't-
tonight?
Let me check. I don't,
The other thing we could do is just come in and sign it. I'd be happy to do that.
yeah, I could probably get
Oh,
up here.
Hey, Pat, if you could drop it off tomorrow.
I can give it to Tammy tonight.
All right,
That
give
would
it
be
tonight.
excellent.
All right.
I can give you those to start.
So this is a learning experience for me. The second issue I came on behalf of BCC was that we have a person who would like to be on the board. We have 2 seats open.
Okay.
And on the commission, and that is a friend of mine, Rebecca Bennett.
Excellent.
Yeah. There's talk of Eric Jessamine coming back, but I couldn't reach him to tell him when our meetings were and such, and
I would entertain a motion.
I would, I'll make the motion that we appoint Rebecca Ann Bennett to the BCC.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There you go. Congratulations
very
and
much.
thank you. Up next, I have Derek. Up in the hot seat, sir. Is the green light still illuminated?
Push the button that says push, it'll glow.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
There we go.
Perfect.
So my dad was very interested in this and brought this to my attention. There's a piece of landlocked land, 10 acres behind our property, in between ours and Gothiers. And the town purchased it for $1,088. And I would like to purchase this land so you guys can collect tax money on it.
Do you know when that transaction happened?
The transaction,
When we took it over?
sale date 3/26 of 2019.
Oh, not too long ago.
And I believe the only people that have access to the land are me or the Gothiers.
So it's not set over towards 36 where,
Don't think so.
Okay. okay.
I don't think it orders here. Maybe
What's that?
it orders flips at all. We.
No, no. It's weird.
A weird shape piece of property.
Yeah.
So,
Why did we buy it?
Yeah, I was about
Probably
It was
to.
a ta- it
It
was,
went
a-
up to
it was a
tax.
ta- it was a tax sale.
yep.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, Derek. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else on the board does. I don't know what the actual procedure is for this.
Yeah.
So we'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
My guess would be it'll have to be posted like any other town purchase or sales has to be.
Yep.
Waiting period, and then we can carry on as progress, but
Yeah.
don't quote me on that because I'm not 100%, but we'll have to look into that.
Yes,
step
I just want to
before we
bring it to,
Yep.
How much land is it?
it's 10 acres.
10 acres.
Oh yeah, it's completely landlocked. It's pretty much all swamp and it's been logged once. I remember when I was a kid, it got logged.
I'm just trying to think of like where that is.
We can check with Kathy.
Yeah, I
Yep.
can-
Is it down off the old sheep sheep pen back there?
There's a,
I'm sure he has.
yeah. Oh, there's no way map in here. I was gonna say I could pull it up in Google Maps probably.
That's what I was just looking to see if I could pull it up. So that. The way this is showing it here, Derek, it actually shows it as part of Gothier's already. But this is not an accurate system, I can tell you. No, I'm on X. Okay. Okay, excellent. I mean, judging by that, I can see where it is because.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, that will be our next step, and as soon as we know what the process is, we'll reach back out to you and
Yeah,
give you an update onto what's gonna happen.
okay.
All right,
Yeah, sounds good.
perfect. Thank you
very
for
much.
coming in.
I shut this off now.
You can leave it on. Next person will just have to turn on.
Hey,
Thanks. Have a good night.
And if you wanna come up too, Dave, I know you're part of this.
What's the weight rating on the chair?
Yep. I've sat in it before, you should be all right.
Tilda.
I just wouldn't lean back, you know? So it's
Gentlemen, can you
Asa
state your names?
Curtis
Lisa Curtis.
and David Hazelton.
Awesome. There you go. Cheap one.
I'm the one that started this.
Oh, you're the troublemaker.
2.5 years ago, my sister from Connecticut and myself and my boys are involved in it who bought that camp up on Skinner Hill Road on the Bakersfield side.
Everybody know what we're referring
No,
to.
I don't.
So you go out Egypt Road to the old Sheridan farm
Yeah.
and up that hill.
Okay,
Beyond the log
couple
house,
last
right?
foot.
That's what I'm talking.
Bit.
Yeah, a couple of years
The last
ago.
building up there.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I go up there and mind my own business, hang out there. This fall, I got medical issues and I couldn't lay down in the bed. I have a recliner up there, so I've been staying up there since deer hunting, sleeping in a recliner. Well, the neighbor don't want nobody going through that road. He thinks he owns it. Matter of fact, the town boys have had a lot of trouble with it. So he's done everything he possibly could to make it miserable for me. I've got my old truck up there. After every storm, I plow the road. He'd go out and get his mini excavator. When I was done, push the snow back in the road.
Just to be clear, Asa, you're living on the trail portion of that,
Yeah.
right? So that's
Yeah.
been thrown up by the town.
It's been thrown up by
So
the town. and
Any maintenance beyond your neighbor's property would be your responsibility,
but
and
I'm-
that's what you've been doing.
Because of the town truck is not plowing to that ash tree where that's the border.
Okay.
I'm plowing it
Yep,
out of the decency out of my heart to help him.
yep.
After every time I plow, he goes out there with that goddamn excavator and pushes the snow back in the road. Don't clean it up. It's against the law to push snow across the road. So it's been building up all winter and we got that first thaw. And right by his mailbox, I couldn't get through with my car. The slush was a foot deep. So I took my truck, pounded back and forth for an hour and opened it up. That night, he went out there and pushed that slush back out in the road, pounded it into the town's ditch, blocking the water, and left the mess all over the road for me to drive through the next morning. That was froze solid. This is the type of person you're dealing with. So a week ago, last Saturday, I went to the village for something. David's been working my camp, repairing sheetrock for me, keeping the stove going when he can. He went up there and he can tell you what happened when he got there.
When I got there, the gentleman who owns the property, his car, he had gotten it stuck in the road. And so I see he was having problems. Anyway, I went and knocked on his door and offered to help him get the car out. Wow.
So you could get through to the camp.
Right. So anyway, he got very snotty with me and told me he was not moving the car until he got damn good and ready. So I said, it'll only take 2 minutes. I got a chain, I got a strap. I said, take 2 minutes. Well, I'm having a meal and I ain't doing nothing until I get ready. So I said, okay. So I said, you're gonna block the town road from legal passage for me. And he said, yep, I'll take care of this when I get 15 minutes. So then he went on and got dirty mouth with me. Told me to have a rotten rest of my day. So then I threatened to call the cops, which I didn't do, which I probably should have, but I didn't. And I shouldn't be treated like that. I'm a taxpayer in town, it's town road, it's a town trail.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah, and the reason it wasn't thrown up completely is so that we
So
could
we
maintain
could-
access.
maintain-
Yeah, I mean, the town as,
Right.
the town taxpayers maintain access, whether it's hiking, biking,
Right.
access to a camp, what have you, so.
So David left, I came back. He's got the car out, got his mini excavator out there trying to fix what he caused. Because he put all that frozen stuff in that ditch, blocked the ditch up and took the road out. He caused it. He told me, well, he said, that's town. He said, the town did it. Like, how could the town do it? Town weren't there. So anyway, he starts in on me. He said, well, he said, your friend, he said, come up here, he said, and he went off on me. And of course, I knew goddamn well he didn't. He said, he went off on me and this and that, threatened to call the cops. He says, and I told him, but I was having my sit-down meal and I weren't doing nothing till I was done. I said, really? No, he said, I'm not. He said, I'm not. He said, I didn't. So then he calms back down. He says to me, he said, well, how are you doing? I said, well, I got some medical issues. That's why I'm up here. I said, I hadn't planned on staying here this winter. I said, I don't have a choice. So he goes on and we talk about that. And the next thing out of his mouth, he said, well, he said, I've been up here for many, many years. He says, and I'm not having this. What is this? He wants no traffic on that road. He thinks he owns the road. He wants no traffic. And because of him, the town truck is turning around in that turnaround that they built on Claude's land and backing up there to his mailbox, where they should be plowing up to that ash tree where they always did. But because of him, they changed it. It needs to go back the other way. He don't own that road.
Problem is, I think Mac, if I remember right, he owned the turnaround, correct?
He owns part of it because the turnaround is half of it's down right away.
Okay. Remember, there was an issue. So.
There was never no issue before he bought it.
Right, I'm saying when we went up, when we walked that property to throw the throw the remainder of that road up to a town trail. We walked it, and that's when part of that was brought up, and I just, like, it wasn't last week, so I don't remember exactly how things were said and where we could and couldn't do stuff, but Mac's there and we can touch base with him later when we go over the road stuff, but.
But this has gotta be resolved.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to deal with that man. And to tell you how smart he is, this is the intelligence he carries up here. He takes his mini excavator and reaches up on his roof to take the snow and ice off and rips his standing seam roof off. Yeah, that's what you're dealing with.
All right.
And I probably can't mention names, but you had an employee that used to plow that road. And he told David and I both, he would dread going up there because his woman would go off on him every time he was up there. That isn't right.
Yep.
Now, they're employees of this town. The town needs to have their employees' backs, and that should have been stopped the first time it happened.
Yep. That's the first I heard of that, so that's good. I mean,
Yeah, he told me that almost every time he went up there, she went off on him.
okay,
That's not right.
okay.
He's just
No.
doing his job.
Yep.
It's a town road.
So. I would think what's gonna happen right now, Asa, is obviously right now, we have you two gentlemen's word as to what's going on. Now, obviously, we can't act against a neighbor on just a word, right? You know, if he came down here and said that you were tearing up the road and we just went and did something to you about it, you would feel like that wasn't right. So we can't very well do it the other way either. So what I would ask is that next time he's in the right of way, doing anything that is impeding traffic, if you can capture it on a cell phone or pictures or what have you, come back to us and then we'll at least have something to go on. Does that make?
So I have I spoke with Mac.
Yep.
About upgrading that trail enough so I can use it for a driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you can't get in there. I'm going in there with a side by side.
Yep.
Mac said that I could do that at my own expense.
Yep.
But I want something in writing from the town that I have permission to do that.
Absolutely. We can get you that.
Some kind of a contract that I have permission to do it and I am the sole person to maintain it. And then when the dump trucks start showing up, and he causes trouble, I'm call the cops.
Yep.
that
We should
would
be
be
able to do
permit,
that.
right?
What's that?
The permit would say that we're given the
Part of our
permission to
new
do it.
town policy we
Well,
have. for
So it
those.
wouldn't be a permit. He needs permission to work within the town right away.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And that's that new form that we gave you, Mac, right? That he just needs to fill out.
So if you can meet up with Mac, sometime this week, Mac has a form you can fill out. I think it's less cumbersome than a permit, for a building or what have you. But that's our new policy for anybody working in the town right away is to do that. And, that way we have documentation, you have documentation and everything's clear.
I had a friend up there that got in their vehicle to leave. He see that car come down the road. He got in that excavator, walked it out in the road, parked it and sat there like this for 10 minutes.
Really?
The other issue you got up there,
Yeah.
the other issue you got up there is you've got lilac bushes on the house, his house side of the road that are growing right into the road.
Okay.
And if I understand right, that from the center of the road, there's 25 feet that he don't own.
Yep.
So I think we need to somehow at least trim those hedges that are.
Yep. So if we do that, I mean,
There's a lot of places. where we would have to
yeah,
be doing that.
there's a lot of places that need that. You know what I'm saying? Like up by your place, for instance, there's a couple.
I understand,
You
that,
know.
but that's a lot wider road. This road
Yep.
up here is barely one car wide.
Okay.
The lilac bushes are hanging in the
They're
road.
right in the
Okay.
road.
And I'm looking back and I'm seeing Mac shake his head, yes, so. I was just saying that. We wouldn't go up and trim back his lilacs as a repercussion for him being in, you know what I'm saying? We can't have it look like.
Two separate
Yeah,
issues.
we can't have it look like a action against him, if you will.
So Are you
Um,
guys gonna go up and fix the road after it heals up in front of his mailbox where he washed it out?
I haven't been up there. Mac, have you been up there to see?
We can grade it, I mean, just, you know, make it what it is.
Can I run the grader that day?
With that.
Can I run the grader that day?
Okay. But,
I don't-
you know where we're coming from
Yeah.
with, you know,
Yeah.
okay. I just want to make sure that we're all on an
And
understanding.
this is where I'm coming from, Josh.
Yep.
If it doesn't get resolved, I'm gonna get a realtor. I'm gonna advertise it in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and he's gonna have somebody that he ain't gonna like.
Don't forget Connecticut and New York.
Somebody with a lot of money, but trouble is, it's gonna come back onto you guys.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, right?
It'll come back onto you guys, cause then you're gonna have to upgrade the road.
Right now, it could be a simple solution.
Yeah,
He doesn't feel he's done anything wrong.
yeah.
And my sons leased their grandfather's farm.
Yep.
And that house sits on a postage stamp, maple all the way around it. God Sheridan owns them. And my boys won't go there to top them until they're when they're out.
Okay.
They wait until they're gone to top
Yep.
those trees. That's not right.
Yeah.
You own land, you ought to be able to own it.
That's true.
So it sounds like there's multitude of issues that some of them are town issues, which we can talk with Mac when we get to roads and see if there's a solution for those. Some of them might be just neighborly, for instance, not being able
You
to tap until
can't be
the.
neighborly with him.
Well, I know what you're saying.
You ask Brian Westcomb about being neighborly with him. I did.
I think that's a law. That's a
Yeah.
state ordinance, yeah.
If,
Yeah.
Especially with snow, because when you have the snow removal, you have to let the trucks get up and down.
if you don't, if you do make contact with him and he comes here and he starts anything, ask him when he built that building. It's up on top of the hill, you can't see from the road. You got a huge building up there. It's been there for 35 years. No taxes. Yeah, that's why there's always something parked in that little road down the bottom if you can't get up there. The only way I know about it is from years ago from deer hunting. Walked right onto it. But anyway, try to get this resolved.
Yep.
And when good weather shows up, hopefully I'll work with Mac and get a permit to do what I gotta do.
Like I said, I think that's a pretty easy one, and if you have any issues, like I said, document it, bring us the documentation.
We want it in writing because I'm more than likely the one gonna be doing the work.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what that
Permit will let
permit
you do
does, is It gives it to you in writing, gives it to you, gives it to us, so that we both know what's happening. Yep.
You know, I don't know if this probably isn't an issue for you guys, but if I decide to live there full time, do I need a change of use permit?
That would be a
That's
Brian
Brian
Weston. Yep.
Because
Well,
it's
if it's
nothing but a
registered
tiny,
as a camp now, yeah.
yeah, it's nothing but a tiny house. It's 20 by 24,
Got
but it
everything.
has everything in it.
Yeah.
Got legal septic and everything.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's been the biggest drawback for a lot of these camps is legal septic.
Got
so.
houses like that.
The other
on
thing
class
is
3,
fire
right?
truck access.
That's class 3 up there?
That is a trail. It's class 3 to, well, how far beyond the house are you?
Yeah, I see.
There's an ash tree on his property. That's where class 3 stops.
Yep,
And then what they figured the other day, 450 feet from that pole to the camp, because we're doing
Yeah.
videos.
so just so you're aware, and I think you've already understood this, is that from that ash tree to your driveway or to your residence, that will be your responsibility to bring up
That's what I
to,
want.
and you would probably want to meet with Todd to make sure that your access is ambulance and fire truck
I can't. right now.
accessible.
That's one of my big
No.
concerns.
Yeah,
I can't get fire insurance.
right. Not right now. We're just saying when you
When you-
go for your change of use permit. Yep.
Yeah, I gotta upgrade the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Right.
can't get fire insurance.
Trimming the bushes because that's required to keep it so wide for us to be able
Yeah.
to do our
We're
operation.
actually gonna, you'd have to see it, but we're actually gonna make a different driveway because when you get up the trail, there's a big maple tree there and it's very tough to make that corner. So we're gonna make the driveway below, you know what I'm saying?
And Kevin
Yep.
Wolf is gonna put gas heat in there and he can't. He says, I got no way of getting a truck in here.
Yeah,
Yeah, just make sure that you put that change of driveway on the permit when you get that from Mac too, just so that if he can go up and make sure that if it needs a culvert, you size it the right way and all.
Won't even be a culvert.
Won't be a culvert, okay. I'm not familiar with that
No.
well enough. It goes across, okay.
The way the ditch is, the ditch carries the water down the road, actually right down toward Claude's.
Oh, he don't want that either.
That's the way it's been.
Yeah,
He
okay.
says to me, he said, what are you gonna do with the water? I said, let it run down the road like it's always done. You got a ditch already.
Claude don't want it in his field. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yep,
Which-
yep.
Makes
Yep.
No, it's-
So again, we always turn that over to Mac and let Mac make his decision based on the road commissioner and having more experience than the rest of us.
So
in
you're
that.
gonna let him fight with Nelson.
Yep, he gets to fight. Yep.
Thanks, right, man?
Simon's getting closer and closer, isn't it?
We good?
All right.
So we're gonna get a paper drawn up.
Yep. Yep. Like I said, just
Back to
swing in
you.
and talk to Mac. He's got it down there and
Yeah.
yeah, you should be able to, it shouldn't be anything too difficult because I think that road, once mud season's over, stiffens up pretty good. So
Yeah. Yeah, it'll have to be made out in my boys' names because of,
that's between
in
you.
their
and-
names because
Yep.
of marital problems.
That's between you and Mac.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, no problem here. All right.
I guess we're good.
All right.
excellent.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice seeing you.
Yeah, you gotta get rid of me.
I think if I pushed hard enough, I could roll you out that door.
We'll go get a bucket of water.
Thank God.
Have a good one.
You're up.
You're up. They all left. Yeah. I actually think you went out to get the permit. Perfect.
Did you get the
Oh, I'm
printouts
sure they're
for
in the
them?
new mail here somewhere.
Email them to us.
I did, I have a hard copy if you need this.
Can you give me half a second here? I said they're in one of these folders. Grab the new mail one. It wasn't the right one. These and. I only got one copy. Oh, no, this one. You put it in the right folder? Hey, Tammy, you make 4 more copies of this?
I brought a copy of things, yeah.
Just make one on the main page.
Go.
Yeah, just do the main page, save the paper.
The only thing we really needed. No, I got 3 more of those in here.
Yeah.
She's making copies. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I can't remember what we said. Yeah, I'm gonna look back at the minutes.
Yeah, because I'm not sure. It was an executive, I don't remember. We can ask these
We
guys.
were?
Yeah, we went no executive on it. Ask them if they remember.
Okay,
I don't remember the date.
all right. That's something different.
Okay. So I know you don't have the updates in front of you, or maybe you
They're
do.
coming, they're coming.
Okay, cool.
Hot off the presses.
Just general update on our work together. Total hours of grant writing and consulting time, 68.5.
Thank you.
17.75 of those were split with the fire department.
Yep.
So all in total, about 59.75 hours have been billed to the town itself. And again, we're good through June. And we still have some hours left of my time if opportunities arise. Since last meeting, it's been actually 2 meetings because I missed the last one and just sent you a written update. But just conducted some grant research. Looked into the municipal highway grants. I can talk about that in a minute. And then attended the Conservation Commission meeting on Monday. They are looking at another go at trying to apply to the Paul Bruin Historic Vitalization Grant for the carriage barn and stabilizing that structure, preserving it, etc. But again, it's down a little bit below 2. So first one I wanted to bring up, and Mac's back in the room, so is the municipal highway grants.
Mhm.
There is an application form for any projects related to class 2 roads and highway structures. town highway structures. And they have kind of their own unique requirements based on which one you're going for. But pretty substantial lump sums for projects. There has to be either a 20% or 10% match, or 30% actually for class 2. And the application seems pretty simple. I don't even know if you would need my support with it, to be honest with you. I think probably Mac and his guys can probably fill it out. Yeah. But just wanted you to be aware of the deadline mostly, that, if there's projects on the docket that, paperwork can be submitted. Yep. And I think the application's in your packet.
That one we've
too.
done before, Matt.
What did you use this one for, Mac?
Yeah.
Or what would you be looking to use it for?
Well, paving grant would be on right here.
Okay.
So that's like the post road and different roads that you've done over the years that you've used it
Okay.
for.
And the other, what'd you say the other one for?
All the
Oh,
culvert
okay,
Whitney.
okay.
And there's no rules to say you can't submit 2 of each, 3 of each. You
Okay.
can, but they all have to have a separate
As
form.
long as we can match.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the question is, Mac, will you need Alex to help or are you putting these grants in yourself? All right.
Yep.
Cheers.
All right.
I even saw there's some examples of like other municipalities and how they filled them out too, and they're pretty straightforward as long as you detail your costs and stuff.
Right.
The bigger one is the Preservation Trust Grant. So the Conservation Commission, again, they approached me. I hear that they approached you about using my services too. So we applied for this grant in 2023. We didn't include, we didn't get it. I asked for the feedback from the Preservation Trust about why. And the biggest reason was they wanted to see town commitment. They wanted to see matching dollars, community involvement. I have the exact words too. It was kind of.
Weren't we donating, wasn't Lance donating wood and you were donating time and cutting that wood down? That is involvement. And that is a financial
Well,
piece
that was for the
Oh,
Hearst
that
house.
is that the Hearst house?
This is for the carriage barn.
Yeah.
Now, we're having a little trouble with the carriage barn because
Right.
it's basically, once it's revitalized, it's storage.
Right.
There's not any.
There's not much.
Use for it.
Right, yeah, and that's a component of this grant too, is that there has to be some community use. So what we had originally said was like, there would be, potentially the
welcome
partnership
center.
with the historical society to put a display in there. It could be a stop for cyclists along.
Yeah, like a
36
rest stop.
and 108.
If I remember, they wanted like a little welcome center. They were gonna put
Yeah.
leaflets and packets in there
Right.
and different stuff.
Backdrop for farmers markets in the park, the community celebrations, having a little shelter for a home base, that sort of thing.
How much they asked for, what it's for.
I
Oh,
don't.
I don't either.
remember what they were asking for the first time around.
This would have been great to have before the election. You could have put it on as
Yeah.
do we want to fund the carriage barn? We're past the election, so
Yeah,
we don't have funds earmarked for the carriage barn.
so here's the exact words from the program officer, just so you all are aware. I know municipal budgets are very tight, but if there's a way for the town to set aside some funding for matching funds and craft a plan that spells out all the work that needs to happen to the barn and turn it into a gathering space, that'll make the project more competitive. So there's that, just for your own.
That's the conservation committee's got to put all that together because they're the ones who have the vision.
Right.
Right. And I think, I don't know about funds, like I said, because we did not account for any of it.
Yes, this is
Right,
what we said, that
right.
if we
That's
said,
what that was for, yeah. She's right there.
No, that on the warning was for land,
Yeah, land acquisition.
land.
no.
Right.
Well,
We can go back. and
okay,
look at
so,
minutes.
okay.
We all sat here and said, if you come up with a grant, we will
Right.
support. you.
Right.
We were really clear about that.
We come up with a grant, we'll.
If
If
they
they
if
came up
they
with a
come with a
grant,
grant
we
and
would
needed some
support
matching
them.
funds, would we support them? And we said yes.
Yes.
Which was $5,000.
5,000, which is 5,000.
So the other thing that I'm asking them to do is put this project in phases. Because
Yes.
there's a lot of issues with that structure.
Mhm.
And, we're 2 years from the last application. I'm sure costs have gone up on materials and labor and all of those things. I'm not sure you're gonna get that structure to where they want it and polished, you know,
Not in one grant.
in $100,000, to be honest with you. So what I've said is, you know, put together your plan like they've asked for and say, phase one is foundation and stabilizing the walls, and, you know, phase two is windows, you know,
Right.
whatever that looks like. And perhaps we just go for part of that.
Makes very
And
much sense.
with a plan to go to some other entities, like to say, hey, look, the Preservation Trust invested 50 grand, you know, can you
Then you've
also
got
put in
some
10?
leverage.
Right, right.
And if
And
there's any of that work that can be done in kind.
yeah,
then that's-
absolutely.
That's
That's
support
what
for the
we're
community.
trying to do.
Yeah.
That was what we did with, or we had talked about doing with the Hearst
Yeah.
houses.
Mhm.
Is, I know
Wood,
Mac
yeah.
had said something about his sawmill, and, I talked about bringing students over and running our sawmill.
Yeah.
Lance had talked about
Lance was
the
gonna provide
timbers.
timber, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna
And,
supply the
You know,
hemlock.
we had
Hemlock.
almost everything we needed as far as materials were gonna be, and that's still.
I do think they've done some volunteer work too that could also count as
Mhm.
like, at least just maybe not in the project budget, but the application to say like, these things have been done since our last application, right? So, I think we're better positioned. And I do think there are some nuances that we'll probably try to adjust, like asking you all for match and, you know, maybe breaking it into a smaller chunk of the project.
I like that idea of breaking it into phases. I think that's the way to
I-
approach it.
I think that'll help.
Yep.
But I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be more value in the end product.
Mhm.
You
Just
know, I
storage.
mean, I mean, having a storage or a landing space for items is great. And I think it's probably needed.
Mhm.
But I think if we're gonna start talking that like $200 to $100,000 in grants to make that happen,
Needs to have more space than just.
it needs to be
storage.
something more than just.
Yep.
Yep.
And they want it to be used for community. I agree with you. I think it needs to be used for community. We wrote in the last application, like partnering with the library to do, you know, in a finished space with mural displays about the town's history, things like that. Story time could happen there in the summertime for kids if it's nice out.
So, and I guess that goes back to, you know, like, what is the end result
Right.
supposed to be?
What's the
Is it
vision?
is it a sealed building with temperature control and, you know, moisture control?
Yeah.
Is it a open space for, as we said before,
It's
you
more
know,
of a
a
shelter.
place for like
Yeah.
bicyclists to take shelter? You know, I think there's so many, I think it's great that they want to do this. I just feel like their vision is
Huge.
mile wide.
Yep. Yep.
Needs a
And
narrow focus.
I think we need to bring it in so that we can fill out the application and be like, this is what we're gonna use it for. We can come to the town and we can say, this is what we want to do with this building, instead of saying, we want to revitalize it back to what it used to be. Well, it used to be a place to park carriages.
Right.
Yeah. The other
I
question.
don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just, you know, I mean,
And I'm gonna
this house has historic value. It has,
Mhm.
I mean,
The Hearst.
what
did
it
when I
what
was a
it
kid.
was, and yeah. The other things were where place, I'm pretty sure that the old Botman place used to be a hotel.
Yeah.
And that's where they used to park the carriages for the
For the-
people
that's
that came through
exactly what it
town
was.
on
Yep.
their way to Montreal
Yep.
or Boston.
The other question is, and I don't mean to be that guy, but it's been 2 years, and it's just me, is there, you know, when we wanted to try to revitalize the store, we wanted to do things, we did things to earn money. What's been done to earn money by the Conservation Committee that shows that they're, except for coming to the town and saying we want money. I mean, when we went to do that store again, I was selling hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff like that at the 4th of July, and we were doing other fundraisers. Has there been any efforts on that level?
So I think that's a good point, but I also think there's that sort of chicken and the egg. They want to hear from us that we support it before they, and I agree, there needs
Yeah.
to be. I'm losing my hand.
There has to, yeah, there has to be something.
I mean, you're even if you put $5,000 towards it, it still needs to, that stuff probably still needs to happen, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen, and it's a lot of great, it's the same thing with the Hearst house, I'll be honest, and I know I'm probably gonna get daggers thrown at me at one point or another. It's the same thing with the Hearst house. You know, it's a lot of great ideas. but there's no, everybody's like, we just want the town to pay for this. Well, you know, you got a committee, put things together. Like I said, when we tried to save the store over there was a handful of us out there trying to earn money. And when we figured out that we couldn't do what we wanted to, we gave the money to the town because frankly, the town paid into it. So we gave it to the 4th of July celebration and for the flowers and all, right? So, I mean, we were serious. We went out, we did what we could. And when it didn't pan out, we obviously turned the money back into the town as the townspeople paid for that stuff. So. But grants aren't only to Alex's point, you know, you need, you can have a cookie sale, a cake sale. You got the 4th of July rolling around. You could do something at the 4th of July. Like we did pretty good with hamburgers and hot dogs. Gary helped me. Remember Gary and I were doing it. Sue Ann, my soon to be bride, she helped me, you know, a bunch of people are over there helping. Right. So I'm just saying, and that was for a project that the whole time I kept going, I don't think this is going to work. Right. Like we're not going to get this thing, but we tried. And that's the thing. We didn't come to the town and go, give us $10,000 so we can say we have an egg. We tried to start building it. And I know that sounds like I'm that guy, but I see 2 buildings over there and one level or another historical. You know, they've been around forever, but that doesn't mean that they should be around forever. The carriage barn, to Josh's point, was where they park carriages. It may be better to take the structure down and rebuild the darn thing. It may be cheaper.
Start talking $200,000-$300,000.
Yeah, when you're talking $200,000-$300,000 to try to fix a building, you know.
I mean, I get the whole historic preservation and everything, but.
Yeah.
I just think they need to focus. What they want to use it.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, we I feel like there are other structures within town that are just maybe even registered on the Historical Society webpage or whatever, and they could use a lot of money too.
And I'll tell you, I'm not quite sure how the town's appetite's going to be after our listers are done with the re-audit of our properties of spending money and increasing taxes, because a lot of us are going to probably see that happen all on its own.
I feel like we've gone beyond the.
I'm not gone beyond the scope.
Yeah.
Just saying.
What I would say is that I think yes, I think they do need to focus on what the structure would be used for, like and honing that a little bit better, and that should be part of that.
And the board
3-tier
wholly
phase
supports
plan,
that.
but
if
big is
they
this
can
barn?
come up with that focus.
Yes.
I would say it's probably 26 by 30.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not a huge
Huge.
building.
No,
Oh my
Mac,
God.
how big would you say? I mean, you've probably been around it more than,
They'll
no
build a
idea.
whole new structure for
I
a
think
tenth
you're
of that.
close, Joe.
definitely not as big as this room.
Yeah, you could, yeah, I'll just keep. Go
yeah, I
ahead.
think their bottom line is they want to see community backing.
Yes.
Like so you have to have a vision to back it, right? Like is what I hear you all saying. You know, and so, you know, making that case is going to require that focus.
And you gotta have one project, not 3 projects going at the same time. That's
Right.
the other problem sometimes that happens is you get multiple and they just draw away from each other. So
Yep.
if you pick one and that's the one we're working on.
Sure.
It works better.
And I mean, at the risk of people on the Conservation Commission being mad at me, but if there are other historic buildings here in town that are priority, you know, this is out there.
Right.
You know, right now I'm planning to help them with this, but there's no reason why other structures.
Brigham, yeah, I don't think that's gonna cover Brigham either.
Either, I'm just saying.
$100,000 ain't gonna do much.
It could jumpstart
Right.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Doing
you still,
sections,
Yep.
you know.
I'm surprised, the Historical Society or the Cemetery Commission hasn't come over with that, with this, the Hearst House, because weren't they trying to go for it at the same time the last time?
They were working on a grant last time.
And quite frankly, I think it might be advantageous in some ways to take the Hearst House, take this building, take Brigham, and, you know, come
Package
up
it.
with a historical preservation plan, if that is
Yes.
the will of the town.
I agree.
So that way you're not competing,
Right.
having those projects compete against one another. I know that, you know, people care about
Mhm.
one thing in the town and might not care about this thing, or, you know, people have their opinions, but I feel like, you know, a comprehensive plan to preserve these assets
I
might be
agree.
more.
With phases that lay out
Right,
what your
yes.
vision is and how you plan to accomplish.
Yeah.
I agree. And I mean, maybe that's probably partially our fault for telling you this information and not the conservation committee.
Right.
And I'm happy to take that message back to them and, you know, I think that they're aware that they need to hone their plan
Not in those words.
and start getting some estimates from contractors about how much this is gonna really cost them too, because otherwise,
Because
you can't
they don't-
really put
Guessing.
together an accurate.
Yeah.
budget.
As I said, we don't have a budget of any form,
Right,
Right.
correct? Okay,
right,
so I mean,
yeah, it was just,
so-
unless they changed the grant application form, there was just a requested amount and, you know, listing of what other funds would be committed to the project.
Yeah, I think that would be my suggestion at this point, would be to focus in on a use and some sort of budget.
Yep.
Because I mean, you know, if they ask for 100,000 and they say it's a 10% match, you know, the 5,000 they're asking for isn't gonna cut it.
Yep.
So,
It's funny that, technically there's no match requirement on the grant, but
okay,
they dinged us on it, like,
okay.
yeah, all right, it required if you're
That's
gonna,
frustrating.
Yeah, right, make it a requirement, yep.
yeah. You know,
All right.
and then, just one quick one, smaller grant opportunity, but, thought this one might be good for the library or even thinking about 4th of July celebrations or parades or, other, you know, fire safety days, you know, that sort of thing, but, Vermont Federal Credit Union does do sponsorships up to $5,000. I heard at town meeting, you know, trying to maybe, amp up the 4th of July celebration next year for the,
Yeah,
the
that's not bad.
250.
bicentennial, yeah. It was, and so, you know, it's a pretty simple application form if there was a group of in town that
What's
wants,
their deadline?
it's ongoing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fine. You know, they have that youth focus too, is why I thought the library or that.
Have you talked to the library about this one?
I don't know if I think I might have sent it. I can definitely send it to Hadley again though. And then there are other financial institutions that have the same thing, because a lot of them have to do the, they have to give so many dollars back to community.
Yeah.
I forget what the.
Philanthropy.
No, it's more like the banks and credit
Thanks.
unions. Yeah.
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 Philanthropy.
Yeah. So that's it, as far as some upcoming things. There might be others that come across. I also wanted to just kind of ask how MERP and the beacons and all that was going.
So on the MERP side of the house, we're now coming out of the winter, so we can actually do some stuff. I did intend to bring up to the team here at the board. It's a chicken and egg scenario. Do we upgrade? We can't upgrade the heating and cooling until we upgrade the power. We can't upgrade the power till we know what heating and cooling we're going with and what the power requirements are. So with the heat being out right now in this room, for those in TV land who don't know, with the heat being out in this room right now, we're going to have, I said to Tammy, we need to have Kathy call and have like Alan Hubbard come up, because he's the only one who's going to work on the machine downstairs to begin with. We went out and bid at this multiple times, and most of the heating cooling experts, the HVAC folk, don't even want to come up here. Bernie Gage and Alan Hubert, yeah, they're the only two that really came up. There was like one other person once who came up and provided a quote.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we banged this quote like 12 times over.
Did you reach out to Bluens?
I reached out, left messages, no one ever got back. I left messages for, I don't know, a dozen people, no one even called us back.
I have a contact who put in a heat pump for me if you,
Who did you have?
B&H Mechanical did it. They're out of
Yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah, so my thoughts is I would just reach out to the two.
Someone wants to work in that basement.
No, that's the problem. Well, it's getting the stuff out of there.
It's so confined that they can't
Just
put the
to,
equipment
just to
down there.
save you a step, because if I remember right, it's gonna require 3.
Okay, so I can do a
So
third.
just try to get that third, just that way you're not having,
Okay,
that way we don't have the 2
right.
and then have to go, oh crap, we need a third, and then look at it and
Perfect.
it go,
Yeah.
shit, this one's expired.
No, just
And
get
then,
3.
then we
Yeah,
just
I
get
agree.
into that.
So the last time I did it, it's right here.
Yeah.
Woolen Brothers, Harrigan, FMK Heating and Cooling, Brock's, Bernie Gajan, and Allen. They were the one and only, I think Allen is the only one, and Bernie Gage who came out. He said he tried, I don't even know if Bernie got here. I'm looking at,
Bennett, I don't know, would Bennett do anything?
huh?
Bennett is typically new installation
Yeah,
only.
that's what he does most.
So-
So I mean.
You could
Bennett-
check with
Bennett
him.
Plumbing and Heating.
Bennett,
Did you say that you just had somebody come up?
Yeah, I renovated an accessory dwelling on my property and they put
Yeah.
in a heat pump and
and who is that?
his name's Kyler Brooks. He's with
Like
B&H
George.
Mechanical.
B&H?
I can give you.
All right,
his-
I'm gonna call the ones that came out,
Yes, absolutely. Reach
And
out
try
to
to
the ones
get-
that have been.
Get the heat pumps in.
try to get the heat pump thing and tell us how big of heat pumps we need. Well, so this is what I was told, because I was like, we need a furnace, but I was told it was not a strong arm. But I was told because we put into the MERP application, or they suggested heat pumps,
Mhm.
that we should really go with a heat pump.
Yes.
But, and by the way,
I don't know if they require non-fossil fuels, but you had to use they had those initial energy inspections.
yeah.
Yeah.
and you had to use that report
Right.
as to what they recommended for the question.
so I'm gonna reach out to the person, the contact down in Northwest Planning Commission, and their
Yeah,
name is,
Marlena.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what she says, because I'm not saying heat pumps are bad. I'm just saying we're gonna have to replace the furnace as well. So, it's like, okay, we have heat pumps, but we're still the town repair fund's gonna have to put in a furnace.
Which we had it, which is what we put it in for.
That's what.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Right, so,
I think the idea would be, to go with one big enough to do both areas.
Just gonna
Right,
say
he-
Do one furnace.
and then
Yeah,
do,
one furnace with multiple zones. I mean,
Yep.
and it's gonna take multiple heat pumps. I know that, because the last time they came out, the size of this room's gonna take two or three.
Go pretty low now. They're pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah.
They go down quite low where the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
the town will love having those ugly white boxes on the side of these nice wooden walls that have been here for.
Yeah,
The ground. They can go on the ground.
but worse than what?
Gotta make sure they're out in the. street.
No, TV's on a metal pole.
Build them pretty well these
Do
days.
they now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do them like through the ceiling or like.
Yeah.
You don't have to have that god awful header.
No.
The great.
So I'll call and try to get at least three of them to come out
Yep.
and give us true estimates on what it'll
Mercy
cost to
does
install
those too.
heat pumps.
John Mercy does heat pumps. too.
John, we dealt with John. Well, see, here's the thing, and it's a little
I'm not
unfair.
saying
We
he
kept
probably
talking
would
about
do
the
the furnace.
furnaces.
He might do the heat pump.
Yeah, he didn't want the furnace job at all.
Nobody
And that
does.
furnace job's still there. It's gonna probably be,
You're gonna have a hard time.
in
finding
conjunction
someone
with-
that'll put a furnace in that
well,
space.
Alan said he would, Bernie said he would. The problem is not putting the
But it's
furnace
gotta
down
meet-
there.
it-
It's
because
taking the
it's
old
gotta
furnace
meet-
out.
It's gotta meet state fire code. That's where you're gonna run into.
But
some
it's taking the old furnace out was their biggest
And
concern.
that's the other, yeah.
But we put in
Tearing that
money to
wall out.
remove the wall and
Yep.
all that in preparation for that too.
Yeah, so I think so as soon as we find out what the electrical load needs to be, is it a 200 amp service? Is it bigger? I don't know. You're talking how many heat pumps in this place?
Didn't we look? It's only like a. It's
The
only
C-
like a 60 amp service.
The service, yeah. Yeah, I think it was 60, right? 60 or 90? I think it was 60 or 90.
I know we looked at one time.
We were
It's like
laughing at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the
it's like
200.
half of.
You're gonna have to put in 200. I'm thinking minimal of 200 service in here. If you're gonna have a bunch of heat pumps.
Call an electrician.
Yeah, and that's the second, as soon as I find out get the quotes from the
Heat
from the
pump.
HVAC, I can then know what the service size has to be, and then I can start reaching out to electricians, because obviously, again, chicken and egg here.
My thought would be. It wouldn't matter how big the heat pumps
No,
are,
Just do the electrical.
because if you're
yeah.
running on a 60 amp service right now with no issues. Then or 90 amp, sorry.
Mhm.
So if you put in a 200 amp service,
You're gonna have plenty.
you're basically saying that you've got 110 amps devoted strictly to those heat pumps.
But the
Because the
question is,
rest
what
of-
do the heat pumps pull? So
I mean, they can't pull, they
believe
can't pull that much, otherwise you won't be able to.
if you
put them
have
on the side
4
of a
heat
house.
pumps in here and they all pull 20 amps, that's 120, that's 80 amps. So that's what I'm
80,
wondering.
You're still freaking.
I'm throwing a
30.
number out there.
That's if they all kick
We have
on
at the
at the
golf
exact
course
same
on
time.
35 amp breakers.
I would say at least 2 of them is gonna be on all the time out there.
Which-
Right, I'm
and
saying-
They're overloaded, yeah.
I think that's where we get
Hey,
confused.
this
though,
gentleman
like,
has a heat pump right
everything-
now.
Everything doesn't kick on at the same time.
No.
I
Yeah.
mean. Right.
No.
And then the other question is when they're running the air conditioning portion of it.
Well,
Air
this room, you
conditioning's
keep the
good.
doors closed and air
Yeah,
conditioning.
pretty well.
I know, it's right.
But you also can
Between,
do more insulation in
Right.
here.
so here's a couple other, between 20 and 50 amp breaker per pump, and they operate on 240 volts. So yeah, we need to upgrade our service definitely. So we'll find out.
So yeah.
We'll
My
find
guess
out.
would be is if you put in a wire big enough from your supply to your box for a 400 amp service.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can run a 200 amp service, and if you need bigger,
You can upgrade. Well, that's what, if I find out ahead of time that we need a 300 amp service, we'll just put 300 with 250, we'll put 250, you know. Why wait till the breakers pop?
right? No, I'm just
Get it
saying.
done
I
once.
think if we oversize it, it's not going to hurt
Just do
anything.
your electrical and get it done.
Get
then-
it done and-
Yep.
Exactly.
Once
So,
that-
but to the point of it, I just have to wait until we determine what pumps and what they require, and then we can get to the electricians and find out what that's gonna take and how much it'll cost. Cause I don't know, and for me to say 200 amp, I may be too heavy or maybe too light, I say 300, you know, so I just wanna know what I'm asking them.
Go 400. You
Go
can't be wrong.
400 and just be done, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that, okay, so they're putting a 400 amp service in the basement? All right, wanna see what a 400 amp, I don't know.
I mean,
Just saying.
get a price for a 400.
Right,
amp
get a
service.
price.
All
yeah.
right.
It's not going to hurt anything. I mean,
Alright.
if 400 amp is 100 amp too much, well then you can run air conditioners in the windows at the same time.
But we get expansion.
Yeah, I mean,
I
so.
mean, I've never been a proponent of, I mean, you're not gonna undersize, like, you know,
You
that's.
can't, yeah, you can't do that kind of stuff.
Oversize it and
Say,
have
two-
extra. It's
two at the
not, you're
golf
not
course are
charged for
30,
it
I'm
unless you're
pretty sure
using
they're
it,
30
so.
amp breakers.
Right, no, exactly, and I think the other thing is, as we get into colder months, those things are gonna draw more and more power to try to heat it, so.
Alright,
The other thing just want to say, John, is that it sounds like, you're doing a lot to manage the project, right? There are some funds in there to potentially hire somebody to
Yep.
push some of this stuff forward. If, there's 11,500 for this building, and for the library, there's also 5,800. So
So who on the library side's taking care of this? I look at Nikki
Yeah.
because she's no longer on the board, but I still look at her. I
Right.
look at her anyhow.
has
'Cause she's-
anybody talked to the library about this? Like, should we, okay, yeah, we should probably like
I don't think,
bring that in.
have them meet with Marla. I know Marlena offered to meet,
Yeah,
about-
she did send a thing out to me, and I did talk to her briefly via emails, but I'm setting up, because I'm like, there's no use in doing anything at the moment. It's too,
If you get with an electrician, a good electrician company,
Yeah.
and you tell them what you're gonna do, they'll plan out what you need. They'll tell you what you need.
that's a good point.
MEI
MEI,
And say, yeah, I mean,
Mike's
that's a
Electric.
good-
okay.
when does that
or
have to be done
D&D.
by?
Does that
D&D
be
's
spent
from over the
by,
mountain.
that's a
Mike
great
Electric, I think,
question.
from over the mountain
Yeah.
too. They're both from over the mountain, but they both
Yeah, eyes
do.
over in North Troy.
MEI and D&D have both been doing the school stuff, so you
Mm.
might catch them in the area where they come in and look at it.
Got it, okay.
But I know
Yeah.
both of those work for the school
Yeah, I've
district.
worked for them before in the fire marshal's office. They're very good.
Good, okay.
D&D just did my shirt.
don't
I
know
need
off the
three,
top of
give
my
me a
head.
third.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah.
Larry West Combs. Did I keep track of what
Larry's-
hours?
Yeah, keep track of your hours.
Larry's
because
not an
that
electrician.
counts towards,
I mean,
yeah,
Why, I'm not getting paid?
right.
Okay.
counts towards your matching.
Uh,
Right. Right.
All right. You're gonna call Bernie you're gonna call Alan to fix this current problem we have, and then I will walk her. I'm not saying I'm calling tomorrow. I have a lot of stuff on my plate. So this is broken. We need it fixed. Have Kathy call for service, and I will talk to Alan or his team about coming back up another day, unless he wants to come up and quote it tomorrow, which is fine.
We'll get it done, then worry about that.
Yeah, I
Right,
think we're still too cold to start playing with the.
Talking repair.
Yeah, no, but.
No, she's talking since I have to call anyhow for a quote. I should send them up here for repair. And I'm saying, call them to repair the furnace.
Yeah, what else have you got for us, Alex?
That and the flashing beacons. I was just curious. I didn't mean to go on.
I
it.
have.
No,
This is great.
we've kind of,
The other thing about MERP two to start thinking about is the accessibility. 20% of the funding has to be spent on ADA, increasing ADA accessibility on the building.
Did they give us a list of things that we were out of compliance on?
Yes, it was in.
Yes, there's somewhere there was, I saw it.
Yeah,
You
but
told
that-
me you all had a report done.
We did have a
sometime.
report. But that also said that this railing was. an
Well, it's
inch and a
broken
half
now.
narrower than it was.
It's broke anyhow, half the railings. I had to take the things
Definitely
off
wider
before
than
someone
it
got
was.
hurt.
What's
I
your
literally,
question? Oh, boy.
Is it on the pedestrian grant that you're supposed to be on that ASAP?
ASAP.
We signed one just the other day.
No, this is something. Oh.
So anyhow, I need, who's the third electrician? Larry Wesco?
What's that?
Who's the third electrician?
No, I was just worried,
I
what's
was like-
his name? Franklin. I think his name right now. It'll come to me.
Okay,
If you think of it, just send it to me.
I do
Yeah.
see it.
Otherwise, I'll just find an electrician
Yeah.
locally.
No, he's another big electrician.
What is today?
24th.
How the hell did this get in here from the third?
Nikki, the answer to your question is December 31st, 2026.
Okay.
Funds have to be expended by December 36th or December 31st, 2026.
Well, I don't, so I mean, yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is the grant agreement was transmitted this AM, so please.
All the
start work
funds?
On design
Yep.
and title to
Says-
package.
Implementation grants
okay.
and must be obligated by December
don't-
31st, 2024 and spent by December 31st, 2026.
Well, December 31st, 2024 is already by.
I think they mean just like the grant agreement had to be signed.
I think we did that, right?
So Tammy. Sorry, just this is, so if I'm reading this right, there's a link. That you have to click on.
I have to keep better
You know,
notes of my
I'm
time.
not super technologically advanced, but I cannot click on the link. Yeah, it's attached to 3 other papers.
Go, Jeremy.
7 o'clock.
Yeah,
Whatever it is, it's not a link.
Go on your half. Is there anything else while he's looking at
I
that?
don't think I have anything else, just. we're just
I think
asking to
we were-
check in, so.
I think we were looking, weren't we talking about, and then winter hit, Mac's been kind of busy, but weren't we talking about trying to figure out how much the flashing solar signs were gonna be? We already did it,
Probably just order
but
them.
did we decide on ordering what ones? Okay.
That's what that's for, is we have to submit it. And then they'll review it, which will take 45 days, and we have to figure out how much it's gonna cost us to do it, but if we're doing our own installation, it's not gonna cost us anything.
Just the
I mean,
equipment.
Just the, which I mean, the equipment is,
State highway access and work permit.
Let me look at that budget too. Hold on.
John, Bertrand Electric,
Who is it?
Bertrand.
BURTRAN?
BERTRAND Electric.
TRAND Electric. All right.
He's
Thank
out
you.
of- He lives in Franklin, but his office is out of St. Albans.
All right, Alex.
check the email now.
He's another one I used to deal with.
I'll try to get them to give us some quotes.
And the email's in there.
I tried to click and organize them. I can find it.
Yeah, in that pedestrian grant, there was 8,500. Well, so we only got a portion of it, but 8,500 for the system, the beacons themselves. $350 freight delivery of the equipment. We put in $600 of labor for the town guys, and
Yep.
then $2,300 in project management and or engineering. So again, somebody could be paid to organize the project. If Mac is doing that, I assume that you could, pay his paycheck with it. So,
Assessment 20%.
and then
See,
another 1,400 for construction inspection once the project's done.
While you have your files up, what was the amount for MERP for the town and the library?
So for the town hall, in total, $91,195.63.
Okay.
And then the library was $46,085.77. And there are line items within that. I don't know how strict they're being about those things. That's a question for Marlena, probably.
We need to spend just over 18K in accessibilities.
What did the link say?
You're saying
For town
20%?
hall,
Yep. 20%, you said, right?
13,817.
So we can't just.
It was just the way it
pick
was,
a hole, bury a pole and put a sign
way
up.
it calculated, because then we added 20% to that, to like the hard costs for project support. And we added 10% contingency in case prices
Yeah,
on things.
exactly.
went up.
That's what I
So
thought we were
it's-
gonna do, is go up there.
So we need to spend
Casing in.
$14,000 on access for handicap.
Correct.
There has to be a
So that
state
could
highway
be
access and work.
Whatever.
No, we need to redo the handicap ramp.
Yep. Could be
And then we
push
need
button
s-
doors if you want. It could be.
Yeah, how about something, I think the bathroom already has a railing on it. I don't go in there, but I'm sure it probably does, but we'll figure it out.
So,
Just love the state of.
and I have the budget tables if you ever want.
If you want to email me them, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
I have a spreadsheet that gives.
That'd be awesome.
Good enough to do that. Send it to you tomorrow, John.
Thank you. I gotta get on it. I have so many projects at work. I haven't given it the right attention.
I hear ya.
Really?
That's why I mentioned you've got project support money.
we're
If you
not
need to hire. a
Putting in
consultant.
Yeah.
sign.
No, and that may be the way to go, or I may just figure it out and bill hourly for my project support of it, and then we can go that route.
We've got.
That's what Lance did and what, I don't know where it went.
I don't.
You have to do this. That's what.
What are we just ordering? Sandwiches?
Sandwiches. The state of Vermont wants us to fill out a access permit to take one street sign out, lay it on the ground, put another one in.
Nice.
Is this a?
Cause you're working there right away.
That's
Probably
not mine.
almost in.
I
on the other
wasn't
side
doing
of
the
the sign.
pedestrian grant. I was doing MERP.
So who's spearheading the pedestrian one?
I
Nah,
don't know.
Let's get Todd with the-
Todd's doing it.
Let's get Mikey.
What are the question? I mean, well, the problem is
I'll trade you MERP for the pedestrian grant. I think that pedestrian grant will be done in about 2 months. All right, so
45 days to get the approval. To say that we can put the sign in that they approved us to put in.
This is the email.
sucks.
You-
All right,
So do you want to, John, so it sounds like the library hasn't been engaged on MERP.
I think they found out that we got the grant. I don't know what's happened on the library side. I'm assuming that are we managing the library side? I know it's not our funds.
No, it's not.
It's not a part of us, so
Do you want me to like go
go nudge them.
over that with them as part of my time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put your time in
At this
because
point.
they won the grant. They should know that what they need to do with it.
Yeah. I'll see if
Not-
I can get on their trustee agenda next meeting.
Yeah, just put it to the time here. Is that it for Alex or he
I
can go?
believe so.
Anybody have anything else for Alex?
Any others for Alex?
Oh, we should.
What?
make
Can
a
you
motion
what?
Yeah.
that Todd can sign. I make a motion that Todd can sign any permits or applications required for the flashing beacon.
Crosswalk signs? I'll second that motion.
This,
The,
the sign
I
grant.
don't lose, I got the other.
I'll give it to
it's the
Tammy. She'll-
V-Trans
she'll
bicycle
file it.
and pedestrian grant program. How's that?
There we go. Tammy, did you hear that? What Alex said?
V-Trans bicycle and pedestrian grant program.
Yeah,
I think
talking.
they think we're putting in a new access. when-
I think it's a standard thing.
Yeah.
And they have a boilerplate and.
I
we're
Oh,
We should just go out and rip the old sign out and put a new one
They
in.
got hit by a truck,
And
right?
then when they
Don't
come
lift it
by,
up.
they'll be like, that's a
No,
nice sign.
Todd can't.
What? I seconded it. I seconded it.
Seconded it. Second, that's a lot of.
The funny thing is
Yeah.
they made us get a letter of support from the local V-Trans person.
Right,
for the
that's what I'm
project.
saying. That's what
So,
doesn't make
yeah.
sense. But I want to
So
call.
just to make this official, motion has been made, seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'll
Any
abstain.
opposed?
I'll abstain.
None opposed. Chatted.
I got 3 texts from Lance. He said, aye.
Aye, aye.
He said, it isn't
All
mine.
right,
Made-
Alex.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, Alex.
It's
Thank you.
been fun.
It's been
Kept you
fun.
for waiting.
Let us know how you make out with the library. Let us know how you make out with the library.
Okay.
Thanks, Alex. The spreadsheet, thank you. See, you're so warm. We don't need heat in this room. He didn't even need his coat. Telling you. Back.
I got the goose.
How you doing?
Oh, good.
Doing.
There it is. Look at him. Doo-doo-doo.
Oh, I wanted to know, who do you guys get for your radio service?
Radio North. That's what we do.
That's the only thing this is out for.
Probably go with.
They do Motorola, they do Kennedy's, I think.
Yeah, we got them both.
Oh, they're very good at it. And that's who we buy from.
Yeah,
And
we might need one more, but we got one that's really not working good.
We're back to a full crew.
yes.
Happy days.
Last Wednesday, right? Came back, I think Wednesday, he said.
How many days off have you taken since he's been back? Oh, 3?
0.
Oh, I was gonna say. I'm surprised you and Al aren't like, hey, you got this, we're going. Road update, how are they looking?
Most of them are looking pretty good.
Yep, did we get any stone to put down anywhere?
We haven't yet. no.
Haven't yet, okay.
We've got the pile in the pit that we
Okay.
put some down.
Yep.
I was
But-
doing a great job on the hill on Egypt
Yeah.
the other day. 2 days running, in fact.
Yeah, we had both graders going.
That was
Thanks,
sweet.
thanks. Yeah, I know some of the roads that I travel daily have started to break up pretty good, but.
It looked good for that couple days that right after it was graded, before the rain and all that crap came through.
And we got the snow.
Now they're heaving
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But as far as like near the high traffic areas for this time of year, no major issues so far.
East Bakersfield's been good. Waterville's getting a little sketchy, but you got 3 people drawing there.
Yep,
But other than that, where there's no sap trucks,
yep,
doing good.
okay. Yeah, I mean,
The weekend.
if we've got the stone, then, I mean, don't hesitate to throw it in the
Well,
hole.
if I can get a hold of Matt and he's got some, and he's open, I'll
Yeah,
bring some of that in.
I don't know where Enosburg was getting theirs, but they got theirs in the
That's,
fall.
Yeah.
They stockpiled.
that's that crusher stuff they got over. there.
Oh, okay, from over to the Wrights pit, okay,
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
and they didn't want to sell any of that?
I doubt.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's making the mud spots harder.
Yeah.
But it doesn't grade worth beans.
No,
No, it,
ride's rough, but
Yeah.
it'll beat in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, you must have seen it going over up by Sand Hill and stuff. I mean, it's nice to take care of the mud spots, but it doesn't grade in.
Agreed.
Yeah, it rolls over.
It'll beat in.
It'll pound in. I'll do my best. What else? Did I have any other questions for Mac?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I had some sugaring questions, but
Okay.
those are. off.
Hey,
Pricing one ton.
I haven't had a chance. I did look on my phone. I talked to Gary about that sign. He said
Yeah.
3,000 a piece. And he said it is a bigger post.
So I'll have to go on the outside of the one that's over there.
Or just pull that one.
Hmm. Well, the other one smaller.
Well. I think. you'd
Slide
have
it
to
over
get-
the top.
Inside and an outside of every object.
Do what you gotta do.
Yep.
Bring it out, Kevin.
If I see the excavator paddling down Main Street, I'll know we got the okay.
Should be easy to pull it out though.
Yeah. I did see Denton working on the ones in Enosburg the other day, though. He was pushing the button and then looking at it.
Yep.
I yelled out the window.
Said you had to have 2 people and they had to
Yeah,
figure out the.
I yelled out the window, it's not working. He looked again.
So like when you yelled out the window, hey, there's a pothole there.
There's a pothole there, yeah. Just pushing his cart across the Hanford parking lot.
Boom. What the? I didn't see it. I was just
McDonald's,
rolling
my
along.
family.
It just,
You didn't
I
laugh.
I rolled out, I
No, he-
opened the door, I said, there's a pothole there. It's like, ugh.
he's over at McDonald's. Like, damn, I didn't,
Hard, too.
I'll
I mean,
roll
it-
along too. Yeah, I did hit that
I
pretty
know
hard.
what you mean. I've done the same thing.
Yeah,
It's
it's
been
like,
there for
I
many
didn't
years.
see it. It's like, boom. I was like, holy
Chevy
crap.
driver would have just steered around it.
Nah, see, I'm a Dodge. I go right through it. Screw it. Go through it.
Anyway, that's not here or there.
No.
Actually, it's
Moving on.
over there. The issue that was brought up earlier in the meeting that you were here for,
Yeah.
is all that track pretty consistent with what you've seen?
Yeah.
Okay,
I told him to pick up an access permit
yep,
and talk to Brian, like you said, about the.
Mhm.
yep,
And we can grade it.
okay.
But when he's talking that lilac bush. Yeah,
It needs to be done?
and we've been told, I'll take care of that.
Okay.
That's what he's told us in the past.
Oh, since he isn't
In our
doing it, I
right
guess
of
we'll
way, we
take care of
can
it.
do
Oh, man, when do we go up through with the brush hog thing?
That's what I,
Yeah, no, seriously.
oh yeah, no,
In our right of way, we have. a way.
it's that bad.
Speaking of I know we're gonna get flack for it, and it's not us that did it, but the Boston Post Road by the golf
Stump that are
course.
This tall,
Yeah, they got 4-foot stumps over there.
Yeah.
and Most of them cut on a 45. They're like, punji sticks over there just off the
Mhm.
Boston Post Road, yeah.
Just past the golf course.
So I don't know if maybe
Oh,
we should
yeah.
call Enosburg Power and just be like, hey, we're
Fix it.
fine with you cutting on the roadsides, but it needs to
They,
be
they hired that.
Done
out.
right.
yeah,
It
that's
was
right.
hired- Yeah, it was Arbortech.
They can
by
hire to
then,
bring him
wasn't
back and fix it.
Right.
That's not
Yeah.
safe.
But I don't want that to be something that falls back on you guys or
Right.
we start getting the
Yeah.
flack for it. So,
They should
Just
be
takes
cutting-
one cyclist that hits a.
right? Oh, they'd be impaled.
Yeah.
'Cause
No,
a
I
lot,
know.
a lot of them are on
Yeah.
like a 45.
Um,
It's
absolutely
like they
is.
walk through with the saw on their hip and just,
Yep.
I
It's
think
not.
that's.
I
think
mean, the
they're
snow
using
was
yeah.
that deep, in all
Yeah.
honesty, so, but still,
yeah. Yeah.
probably shouldn't have cut then.
No.
Not roadside, maybe. Plenty of other places, but.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you don't get any flack for that one.
Mhm.
I haven't heard of any, I haven't had any, oh boy.
You watch what you say, start
Yeah, I
knocking on
know,
wood
I
now.
know, I know.
Hey, Mac, I'm gonna interrupt him so he doesn't finish
Yeah,
that sentence.
Appreciate that.
Hey, can you do me a favor? The culvert you put in over on Joyle?
Yep.
Can you take a look at that? Everything's settling pretty deep there.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
normal for
it's-
this time of year, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, I'm not saying it's horrible. I'll go through it and I'm in a pickup truck, but God help somebody in a car.
Yep.
It's just, I think everything's finally settling down
Yeah.
and it's just got a huge well going there.
Yep. That's not a
The
problem.
rest of the stuff is normal wells. I'm just worried about topping
Right.
out on that thing.
Yeah, no, we can bring a little gravel up.
Action rate.
And I took East Bakersfield on Saturday. It wasn't too bad. There were some spots.
Mhm.
There were some spots, but
And I mean-
overall it was pretty tight and decent. Cause I went down to, the one house that the ZBA had to deal with. So we're down there. So I went up and down there. I went up and down, Witch Cat, which also wasn't that bad. I mean, but it was shortly after you grade it, but it,
Just after it snowed.
yeah, so.
Hey, yeah.
Cool.
Just keep hammering it with the grader.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't.
Eventually it'll level
Oh,
out.
I'm all set.
Yeah.
Good job.
Keep up the
Excellent.
good work.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Well, for at least another 6 months. Well, like it was playing it,
Yeah.
it was.
You have
in my
anything
head.
for us?
Drop.
You are working on a date to give us so that we can talk about hiring that position. They can get some time in before you leave.
Yep.
Okay. I have other questions too on that, but I think that may be an executive
Mhm.
session discussion.
Are you saying now?
I think so.
I'll make a motion. We go into executive session to discuss personnel matters.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right.
Batch.
Make the motion, we go out of executive session.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, coming out of executive session at 8:37.
No-
Last things.
No decisions were made during.
Right, correct. No decisions were made during executive session.
You have anything for us, Mac? Perfect.
Police contract, Todd?
Yep, I talked to Enosburg and they did get their money, so they are moving forward. They'll let me know when the next meeting is going to occur. So I can let Paul Talley and Mr. Foster know and we can attend that meeting.
Okay. And per the vote in November, we do have $50,000 to entertain or start.
Yep. And I told him that, but I said, we really need to know kind of where you're at.
Yep, perfect. Updated road policy, I don't know, did somebody have that?
No.
We'll table that one. Updated personnel policy, Todd
Yep.
had that.
We have
Right here.
discussed
That's what I
last
wanted.
time how we might change the annual leave and how that's accrued. So I wrote down what I thought we said. Josh pointed out that there is a 3-month probationary period, so vacation cannot accrue until month 4. I've done it by we sort of talked about rounding up the hours and doing it by pay period. So what we've essentially done is given in year one.
Were you here for this, Mac? I don't think Mac was at the
Oh.
last meeting. Can you give him just a quick update?
Yes, so we talked about the way the policy is right now, they have to wait a year before they can start accruing leave. And then it's done at the beginning of the year, they get 2 weeks or a week or whatever the amount is. And so we talked about having that vacation be accrued the first year that someone is working, so that you don't essentially have to wait a full year before you get any vacation.
But so you also can't quit on, say, January January 2nd,
Get your
and they've
full
already
weeks.
gotten another 2 weeks or so vacate, you know what?
And then we also added allowing, and I think we said 80 hours
Yes.
to be,
we did.
that could be carried over from one
Right.
calendar year to the next.
Right. A
Yes.
vacation, yeah.
Okay.
And then sick time.
And then with sick leave, similar thing, that full-time employees will accrue sick leave at a rate of 2 hours per pay period. And I'm not sure if we came to an agreement on this, but
No ceiling.
no ceiling, that it can be carried over from year to year, partly because
We don't have to pay for that at the end of the.
we don't have to pay for it, 'cause it's not so bad, but also if you're on paternity leave,
Yep.
maternity leave, any of that, only having 20 hours or whatever it was is,
Or,
Not
yeah, or
helpful.
if you're, yeah.
or any kind of serious illness.
So
serious illness.
just a quick question, because I know we talked about it, but just a quick question. If somebody retires or leaves and they have 100 hours of sick time that they didn't use, we pay that out, or is it use it or lose it at that point? Use it or lose it
No,
would
they
be
don't get
buyout
paid
fee
for it.
too. It's not a payout.
No.
That would be for sick time. I think vacation time would be.
Vacation we
Vacation
would pay
time
out.
is due, yeah,
Sick time,
Yeah, when we
Right.
talked about, yeah.
right.
right. We just need to make sure we put that in
I think
here.
it's in that. All I
Yeah.
did was, this is
Yeah.
just language that's different.
Yeah,
And if
She
you
Just
look,
changing.
just pulled that section out of the personnel policy and
if you
updated.
look at that, it's got page 23, I think.
Yeah.
No, not what I was doing.
so while you're looking that up, real quick, the other question I have is, there are some months that they get 3 pay periods, right? Because there's
Which
an
is why
extra
it's accrued. It's 26 pay periods a year.
26 a year.
26 a year,
Yeah.
we figured it out.
It'd be more than 26 for some of the months though, right? Or am I smoking dope?
Only
No,
52
because it's
weeks, you get
52
paid every
divided by
other
2.
week, right?
Yeah, but there are some months you get 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still, there are only 26
it's-
pay
it's
periods
just
a
a-
year.
And that's right. We're gonna all have to come in next Monday to sign a warrant for their pay. Because next week is a 3rd week for
It's an
them.
odd one, yeah.
Right. That's separate.
I was gonna say, I don't know how that works
60
because
years.
at the school, they actually skip a pay period.
Yeah.
In the summertime. Oh, yeah.
Horrendous.
You wanna talk about?
Very upset.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Very upset.
Can't find what page it's on, but it's,
So how many years you been with us?
100?
How many years you been with us? 45. You would be earning 6.5 hours a pay period. Vacation
Vacation time.
per
Yeah.
pay period.
Now he wants to stay.
it's
Ah.
not that different to what, no, that one only worked out being an extra 2 days.
Yeah.
Hours.
Hours, not days.
It's like,
He's like, I'm off more than I worked
Wait
at
a
this
minute,
point.
I can work a
Balls
week
spring
and
off.
take a week off and.
I get sick time. I don't ever have to show
Wow,
up.
Page 23, so that all of that language is in there, and all I did was
Just
the bits.
break
All
it
those
out.
pieces.
That's excellent.
And if everybody's okay, I'll just update.
Update away.
Perfect, yeah.
And then at some point in the
Which-
near future, we'll,
Yeah,
got
with,
this.
with
Okay.
with the corrections that John made where upon, so for sick leave,
Yeah,
upon retirement or
It's in
leaving.
there.
of
it's in
the
there.
job.
It's
Okay,
already-
Yeah.
that
all right,
language
yeah,
is-
yeah.
I didn't have the, I
All
don't have it in
right,
front
I'm
of me,
sorry,
so-
it's
No,
getting,
that's
I'm,
fine.
there you go.
I'm
Got
getting
it, yep.
loopy here.
Yep, right there.
All right.
So under personnel policy, there's the other one there that's, we can't tackle until until Belvedere Mountain is done.
So keep,
Yes.
keep it on. there,
Yes.
yeah.
The road policy is me, isn't it? Isn't that the? Oh, no, the Luno property is what you're
No,
talking
it's the
about.
one up
Yeah, the
on
Luno
Kings-
property, we've got to figure out what's going on Belvedere Mountain before we can give them.
Right.
And that's,
And our policy is you can work within the town right of way with a permit.
Right.
We've just got to establish
what
what.
it is.
Yep.
Yep.
Warrants and reports are covered. Did I review the mail? I feel like I did.
I
I feel like
dropped an
Tammy-
extra mailbox.
Oh, aren't you such a nice feller?
The,
John?
the generator.
I see it over this. This one.
Dropped in the front.
I'm not done with those. Hi, John. Looking to schedule a service for the generator at Bakersfield week of April vacation.
So when's
Is that
it,
inspected annually, that one?
it gets serviced in?
Watch how I do this. Here you go. Mac, you wanna call this guy and schedule a service for?
One in Enosburg.
I just want to talk about the, well, one, to note, so you had notice, and two, when's the school closed in April?
21st through the.
Bakersfield Elementary?
Remember?
Yes, I know what school we have here in our town.
No, I know you work for Enosburg. so I didn't know if you're doing.
Same,
Is it?
same shit.
Oh,
different
that's
story.
true, right, Franklin.
So technically the 19th through the 27th.
19th
but the
through
19th and the
4/27.
20th are Saturday and
Alright.
Sunday.
Oh, they're not gonna do
So the
that.
21st through the 25th is the actual date.
21st through 4/25. All right, what I'll have to do is, who's handling the maintenance over there now? Cause they're gonna go with them.
Vern,
Vern.
boom,
Vern Boom over.
boom
You want
over.
his
that's
phone
what it is.
number?
Yep.
Boom over.
Great. Get
Let's
that.
not have that.
Yeah, you can just lay it in front of me.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
write it down.
just throw that right out there. Don't even worry about it. We've got 1802. That's all you get, folks.
Thanks. I may have that,
You
actually.
probably do. I feel like
I think I talked to him once or twice.
I'll give that back to you. Is everybody
Yeah.
good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And of
John.
course, we're gonna get the bill for this.
That's-
This is the service.
Services are.
And if I remember right, what was last year? They were saying they had to do the belts or something on this service.
Belts and filters, I thought they said.
Yeah, so I'll confirm that as well. Who is this? Tyler. Tyler's the tech. Belts.
Heck, no, they're the people doing the
Anyone?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Update of official contract. Update official contacts, no official contract. VLCT needs accurate contact information as soon as possible for the offices.
Yeah. What else you got?
Annual Vermont Solid Waste District Supervisor appointment form. Tammy,
Danny?
Mr.
Yeah.
Lives up that way. Solid Waste District, same guys last year. Done, new mail.
Nice.
No,
Member or chair?
I was gonna say, I'm chair. No, no.
Just-
You wanna sign it? Does it say select board member or select men?
Member.
Does it say?
It's not happening.
Make sure we can sign that. one.
Okay.
Brigham Academy, nothing? Okay, thanks. Others?
I have one.
You would.
Oh,
Well, I'm giving a quick update. I called the daughter of the person who, the dog bite victim, right? I left her voicemail on an update. That's it.
Sweet.
thank you.
Nice.
All those in favor?
Make
Aye.
motion to adjourn.
Second,
Motion's been made, seconded. Any discussion?
no.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed?
Josh wants to stick around, he said.